Greetings, people of planet Earth. My name is Rostislav and I'm from a beautiful country called Ukraine. I wanted to personally thank you all for the support and solidarity to our nation in a fight against occupants from Russia, our so-called brothers. I bet you met many people from Eastern Europe, and I bet you wouldn't make a difference between them. You would call them all Russians. Until certain events that took place in Ukraine during past 4 years, we used to believe that we were the same people, like brothers, who would always had each other's back. But we never been so wrong. In this video, I want to make it clear for every one of you that we, Ukrainians, not Russians at all, and we never have been. We never been one nation with them. We are so different. It is really offensive since then for us to be even called Russian. Love to each other have changed to mutual hatred. And I want to tell you why, when and what caused the collapse in the relationship between two countries, once brotherly nations. I want to get you familiar with the very source of hate that flared up between us. Despite the long history of Ukraine and Ukrainians being pressured by Russia, the real hatred appeared a little more than only 4 years ago. November 2013. President Yanukovych rejected the integration deal. The huge hope that lived in the hearts of Ukrainians who were looking forward to association with European Union, after he received a counter-offer of $3 billion from Vladimir Putin, who persuaded him to join so-called Eurasian Union instead. That led to massive discontent of the Ukrainians, except those who have been brainwashed by Russian propaganda that had and still having a huge influence into the eastern part of Ukraine lives the most of Russian-speaking people of Ukraine, who mainly watches Russian television. The Herald of Kremlin led people to believe that it is only bad future they should expect if united with Europe. The only good they could ever achieve is if they join Eurasian Union, which consists of several post-Soviet countries. After the rejection of Euro integration, people, including students, women, elderly men and women, came out to protest against the Yanukovych's decision. It brought the beginning to an event that will always be remembered in the history of Ukraine, with a whole nation called Maidan. 140 people died in the Revolution of Dignity. 18 of them were police officers that, by the orders of the President Yanukovych, were trying to disperse the protest in the most brutal way possible. Those and hundreds of others were responsible for the deaths of people who were sacrificing their lives for Ukraine's better future. On 21st November 2014, by Petro Poroshenko decree, the perished Ukrainian protesters of Euromaidan were posthumously awarded the Hero of Ukraine title. During these 3 months of protests, Russian media propaganda was doing everything in their power to discredit the revolution, make it look like Ukrainians have lost their mind, that everything was organized by the State Department of the United States of America, that activists of Maidan are just prepaid people by Western enemies of Russia. They were telling Russian TV viewers that Ukrainians are stupid and fool, trying to make a total nonsense out of Maidan, the Revolution of Dignity. For all the 140 millions of Russians, as much as the rest of the world, using their channels such as Russia Today and others. Even in Europe and United States, the countries that support Ukraine, billions were spent on anti-Ukraine and anti-West propaganda. All our brothers who believed the Kremlin's lie were laughing in comments under every video that was covering the footage from Ukraine. Everywhere in the social media, they were on to us. They were criticizing us, offending us, laughing at us. People who stood for the country's European vector of development instead of an old and ineffective, very ineffective Russian way. Because we've seen it, we tried it, it didn't work out. Sorry guys, we had to move on. If you're brothers, you had to support us, but you didn't. Even nowadays, it's hard to explain to them that if people rise to defend their rights for a better future, it's not always because America told you so. If you ask any Russian, they will tell you that Maidan in Ukraine was orchestrated by United States of America State Department. This is the most popular argument. And it's just because Putin said so. Now, can they call us and them a one nation? When we are so different inside, we may share some blood. Because many people have been deported to Russia during Holodomor, Stalin's repressions. Also, many people came to Eastern Ukraine from Russia as well. So genetically, we do have very much in common. But the real difference between Ukrainian and Russians lies in mentality. Ukrainian is a free man who is ready to fight for his rights. Russian is an opposite, obedient to their helmsman, easy to rule, serve, who will be barely surviving but still will stay loyal to his Tsar, the king, the Putin. The annexation of Crimea is the most dishonorable way to once again reveal the real face of Russia to Ukraine and to the rest of the world as well. Armed people in green, without any identifications, blocked the military bases and the government buildings. They were calling themselves local resistance force. Even President Putin didn't have guts to admit that they were Russian special forces, so-called Spetsnaz. That's right. That were used in the soil on other sovereign country. He sent his people to the foreign country. And obviously all our so-called brothers believe that Huilo says. Every single word he says they believe him. Despite Ukrainians tried to tell them the truth, they will listen to him. Even when Putin told the whole story to the world in the film called Crimea Way Home, about the international crime he committed, really this film was about. It proves that there was not a single thing legal about referendum that took place in Crimea in March 2014. Absolutely, they still supported him, they still were saying Crimea is ours, that's it. That's all that matters, they don't care. And after that, they do have guts to call us brothers. I mean, it is disgusting to be called brother by Russians after events like that. I think you will understand me. Following the annexation of Crimea, there was a long line of separatism acts across the whole southeast part of Ukraine, which caused Russian propaganda. Only it, nothing else. Putin was always tolerant to Ukraine, as he had power to control it. Is Yanukovych gone? He lost control. He will never get it back. We know we won't let it happen. Too many died for it. We're not what we used to be. We built a great army from scratch. We put up a great fight against the invaders. We will win. Because the truth is on our side. Because we're fighting for our fatherland. In history, the occupants, they don't win. They always lose. They're always being gone and always being embarrassed. You try to take Kharkov, you try to take Dnipro, you try to take Zaporozhye. Yours has been kicked, and it will kick you from Donbass as well. In Russia, people like a herd. They let their government do whatever he wants and support it in every way. They support them in killing 12,000 Ukrainians in Donbass, destroying the infrastructure, causing millions of people flee their homes, thousands of dead civilians in Syria, selling weapons to terrorists, pushing country to the deep hole from where return won't be easy. And you, people of Russia, brothers, allowing them to do it because you're cowards, You're not even thinking of the future of your own children, because you're either so scared of what you've done, so you are too suckless to admit it, or just really dumb to understand it. Which one are you, brother?